So, we are here to continue our study of the Letters of Swami Vivekananda. We'll start with our opening prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitam astu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May we be protected together. May we be nourished together. May we gain in strength together. May what we study shine forth in our lives. May we not find fault with one another. Om, peace, peace, peace. So, Henry, and after a long time. So, we have been occasionally on Thursday evenings we have been taking up the Letters of Swami Vivekananda, the new edition. It comes in 4 volumes. This is only one of the 4. And it is a complete, up till now, what we have, complete collection of all the letters. And so much has been restored. In the earlier editions, a lot of ellipses were given and passages were removed. So that's been restored. And many of the letters have been retranslated. The ones that he wrote in Bengali have been retranslated. So it's a real treasure to go through this. And we get this sense of Swami Vivekananda as a human being, as a man who is struggling to deliver his master's message. And then, of course, at times also goes into ecstasy and expresses that also in his letters. And his tremendous love for his disciples and for others. All these different aspects of Vivekananda we get through these wonderful letters. So we have been, and it's also a historical document because it follows, he's relating what's happening as he's traveling. And right now the letters are coming from America, and this is written in this letter that we started last class was written to Swami Ramakrishnananda, otherwise known as Shashi Maharaj, in 1894, early January 1894, from Chicago. So this is the first letter that Swamiji wrote to Swami Ramakrishnananda. It's written in Bengali, translated into English, and he's described quite a bit about the weather, because it gets so cold in America, especially in the Midwest, that you can't imagine in India how cold it gets, and how you get little icicles on your mustache if you have any facial hair. The ice forms on the facial hair and all of that. So he mentions all these things, and yet inside it's very comfortable and warm because there are steam pipes and all of that. So all of this, and then also the tremendous costs, and yet how he is managing to make ends meet. Now, he's going to talk about Pratap Chandra Mazumdar, who was a Brahmo leader and who knew Swami Vivekananda as a young man, as Narendranath in Calcutta. And he also came to the Parliament of Religions. He had come to America once before, I believe. He was a good orator. And I think he had a book called The Oriental Christ. So he was friendly towards Christianity. And let's see what happened. By the will of the Lord, I met Mazumdar here. He was very cordial at first, but when men and women of the whole of Chicago began to flock to me, then the fire of jealousy raged in Brother Mazumdar's mind. And after speaking ill about me here and there, he ran away to Boston. There he collected some money by begging from the Unitarians and left for homeland. To them he lamented that he was starving along with his wife, 3 exclamation marks. So they gave him some money. Brother, I am shocked to hear and see all this. Well, brother, this seems like a little mistake in the translation. Well, brother, have been any hindrance to your sustenance? You have received enough recognition in this country, but that, it wasn't the same as mine. Is that my fault? Okay, so he's addressing Mazumdar here. Well, brother, have I been any hindrance to your sustenance? That's obviously a typo. Sorry about that. Have I been any hindrance? So he's addressing Mazumdar. Have I been any hindrance to your sustenance? You have received enough recognition in this country, but that it wasn't the same as mine, is that my fault? You have come into the market. The one whose product the customers like will get through. What is there to be jealous about? So he's kind of painting it as they are both salesmen, as it were, with their product. What's the product? Teachings, this teachings, and Swamiji has the highest teachings of Vedanta, and Mazumdar has the teachings of the Brahmo Samaj. Okay, they're nice teachings, but which one won out? Which teachings were people more interested in? And is that Swamiji's fault? Moreover, Mazumdar maligned me a lot to the padres of the Parliament of Religions, saying, quote, he is nobody, an impostor and a rogue, and after that, after coming to your country, he claims, I am a fakir, and so on, unquote. In this way, he turned their minds very much against me, especially that of President Barrows, to the extent that he doesn't even talk to me properly. They tried their best to discredit me in their books and pamphlets. However, the Guru is with me. What could Mazumdar do? The whole of America loves and respects me, gives me money, and reveres me as a guru. What can Mazumdar do? What would the padres and the like do against me? Moreover, these people are a nation of scholars. Here, it doesn't work to say, we marry our widows, or we do not worship idols, and things of that sort. These ideas gain ground only with the padres. Brother, what people here want is philosophy and learning. Mere empty talk doesn't work anymore. Okay, so he's describing the situation. Even the president of the parliament, Barrows, who afterwards came to India and tried to preach his narrow, bigoted Christianity, didn't get very far with it. He believed the tales that Mazumdar was telling, and Mazumdar gets worse. In India, he starts spreading even worse lies about Swamiji, especially that he is unchaste. And finally, all these rumors being spread by Mazumdar were put to rest when the devotees, the disciples and devotees got together big public functions to recognize Swami Vivekananda for his service to India and affirming that he is a genuine sannyasin who is a genuine representative of Hinduism and all that. So that would take still many months. So Swamiji would gradually feel some perturbation because some of his friends, not all of them, some of them stuck to him, understanding him, but some of the people started distancing themselves from him with the spread of these kinds of rumors. So, but interesting to see, what did Swamiji do about it? Nothing, except for to ask his brother disciples to get up some meetings. But as far as actually arguing or saying, no, I didn't do that, he didn't say anything in public regarding the allegations being made against him. So he's saying, Mazumdar, Brahmo Samaj, they say, we don't worship the idols, we marry our widows, we're the better Hindus than the regular Hindus. And Swamiji saying, this is not what people want. They're thirsting for philosophy. They're thirsting for learning. And actually, of course, Swami Vivekananda had more than that. Yes, he was a philosopher and a very learned, widely read and deep thinking man, but he also had that realization. So that was the additional, which he doesn't mention here. He had that tremendous power, spiritual power coming from his realization, and really the power of the Guru with him. But that's he knows it all the time, because he says, however, the Guru, meaning Ramakrishna, the Guru is with me, what could Mazumdar do? He goes on, Dharmapala is a fine young man. He's talking about the Buddhist representative to the Parliament of Religions, who may have also been Bengali, I'm not sure. Dharmapala is a fine young man. He does not have much religious acumen, but is a good person. He had a good deal of popularity in this country. Now he's going to go on, lamenting this, what he calls a terrible sin of jealousy. Brother, I have been brought to my senses by seeing Mazumdar. I understood the reason why the Brahmos drove him out. I wonder, is that true? I didn't realize that. I wanted to look that up. That did the Brahmo Samaj drive Mazumdar out of their organization? We'll have to look that up. And then he's quoting from Bhartrihari. Ye tu vignamti parahitam nirarthakam te ke najani mahe. This is a quote from Bhartrihari, who was as you probably may remember, a king who renounced the world and went to a cave and wrote 3 shatakams, 3 texts of 100 verses. The Niti Shatakam, which is the 100 verses on conduct, the Shringara Shatakam, the 100 verses on love, if I'm remembering correctly, and the Vairagya Shatakam, which is probably most well known in our circles because we publish a translation of it, the 100 verses on renunciation. So this is actually the full verse, he's only quoting one line of it, which means we do not know what sort of people they are who hinder the welfare of others for nothing. So Bhartrihari describes 4 different kinds of people in this verse. He says there are the Satpurushas, the good people, the noble souls. Sat here meaning noble, Purusha, who are selfless. They give up their own interest and work for the sake of others. Then there are the normal people, like most people in this world. The ordinary people, the Samanyaha, the Samanya Purusha, they work for others only when it does not conflict with their own self-interest. So the Satpurushas, they give up their own self-interest just to work for others. The normal people like us, mostly, we all work for others if it doesn't harm our own self-interest. Then there are the Manava Rakshasaha, the human demons. They actively hinder others' good for their own gain. Okay, they obstruct others' welfare for their own selfish ends. And then, the 4th line, this is what Swamiji is quoting, there are those who obstruct others' welfare for no reason, for no cause. It doesn't help them, still they obstruct. So Mazumdar's spreading lies about Swamiji, it doesn't help Mazumdar. It doesn't give him anything, it doesn't give him money or fame or anything else. It doesn't help him in any way, but still he does it. That's what he's saying. Bhartrihari says, I don't know, what can I say about such people? There's nothing, they're so bad that I don't even have a name for these kinds of people who would be, because their wicked doing is motiveless. They just do wicked for the sake of doing wicked. So what can you say about such people? It's nothing. You can't say anything more about those people. So he quotes Bhartrihari here. Brother, one can get rid of everything, but that cursed jealousy never tends to leave. It is very common in us as well. In us, I'm not sure what he's talking about. Maybe, possibly even the brothers, the brother monastics. Because he cautioned the brothers again and again against feeling jealous. This is the defect in us as a race, speaking ill of others and envying the prosperity of others, and having this idea that I am great, none else will become great. Swami Vivekananda would probably say it's one of the, and I think he does say this later, one of the characteristics of people who are enslaved or pushed down or colonized. They don't have freedom. They're pushed down. In the case of India, the British are ruling, and they are extracting all the wealth, and they are making all the rules. And so everybody is pushed down and then fighting for a little bit of recognition, fighting for a little bit of money, fighting and getting jealous. Oh, he's got something I don't have, that kind of thing. So freedom is tremendously important for not having this jealousy. But then we need a certain amount of self-respect and knowledge that we are all right also, so a certain amount of self-esteem is required in order not, it's a really something that comes from a deep sense of low self-esteem, that we are jealous of others. And this acceptance of the idea of karma also helps us overcome jealousy. Well, it's my karma that I am not famous and he is. That's my karma. It's not my karma to be famous. Or if it is, then I'll become famous. That what we deserve comes to us. A little bit of that faith, as we can cultivate, we can work on that. What Swami Vivekananda calls a sin, actually, a defect in the race, but even a pop, which is not quite, it doesn't carry quite the weight of the English word sin, but pretty much it means something which is harmful. Now he's going to turn to the, he's also going to mention several times in the rest of this letter about the misogyny in India, and he decries that. Nowhere in the world are women like the women of this country. How pure, independent, self-reliant, and kind-hearted. Women are the all in this country. All learning and intelligence are centered on them. And he quotes from Chandi, Ya Shri Swayam Sukritinam Bhavaneshu. And that's, of course, from the Chandi. We sing that hymn here. Does the line sound familiar, those of you who join us for the hymns in the morning? She who is Shri, the Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune herself, in the families of the meritorious, the Sukritinam, those who do good things. She, the Divine Mother herself, appears in the, and then, so he says, this is true. Ya Shri Swayam Sukritinam Bhavaneshu is true in this country, means Mother Lakshmi is dwelling here. And Papatmanam Hridayeshwa Lakshmihi. That means she is the goddess of misfortune in the hearts of the sinful, of the Papatmanam, those who are wicked. She becomes misfortune. This is, of course, from the Chandi. That is chapter 4, verse 5. But he's sort of paraphrasing a little, because the verse actually goes, Ya Shri Swayam Sukritinam Bhavaneshu. And then Alakshmi Papatmanam Kritadhyam Hridayeshu Buddhi. You are yourself good fortune in the dwellings of the virtuous, and ill fortune in those of the vicious. Intelligence in the hearts of the learned, faith in the hearts of the good, and modesty in the hearts of the highborn. So that's that verse. in our country. So he says, Papatmanam Hridayeshu Lakshmi, you are misfortune in the hearts of the wicked in our country. Understand this, O Lord, O Lord. I am astonished seeing the women of this country. And then he's quoting again from Chandi, Tvam Shri, Tvam Ishwari, Tvam Rihi, etc. You are Shri, the goddess of fortune. You are the supreme goddess. You are modesty. Hrihi. And then, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samsita. To that mother who dwells in all beings as Shakti, as power, etc., he says. There are thousands of women here whose minds are as pure and white as the snow of this country. And look at our girls becoming mothers even at the age of 10. Oh Lord! Now I understand. At the age of 10 has 1, 2, 3, 4 exclamation marks after it. So Swamiji himself suffered terribly. His sister committed suicide, and I think he blamed, at least in part, the fact that she was married at a very young age. And this was the system back then. Look at Holy Mother was married to Sri Ramakrishna at the age of 5 or something. Of course, it was just a betrothal. But as soon as the girls reach puberty, they become mothers. So actually, it's the grandmothers who would raise the children. Often, children can't raise children, obviously. But it's kind of tragic. And Swamiji railed against this practice of child marriage often in his letters. O brother, yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devataha. He's quoting Manu, who wrote one of the texts of Hindu law called Manu Smriti. And this means yatra, where the women are pujyante, are worshipped, are honored. There, tatra, the devataha, the devas, the gods, ramante, they rejoice. So it's a beautiful line. The gods, here it says, the gods are pleased where the women are held in esteem. Ramante could be pleased, or even can say they rejoice where women are honored, where they are worshipped. So, O brother, he quotes this, the gods rejoice where women are honored. Said the old Manu, we are horrible sinners, and our degradation is due to our calling women, quote unquote, despicable worms, gateways to hell, and so forth. Goodness gracious. Okay, so this is I guess, lustful men calling women in this way to for whatever reason. So it's great that Swamiji is calling it out like this, without holding back, as it were. But it's also, of course, difficult to read and remember that this was the practice. The difference is like heaven and hell. And then he quotes from the Isha Upanishad, Yatha tatyator tan vyadadhat. He apportions the results of action according to the merits of the case. So, in other words, why is India suffering so much? Well, look how the men treat the women in India. Is the Lord hoodwinked by frothy talks? The Lord has said, Tvam Stri, this is from Shvetashvatara Upanishad, thou art woman, thou art man, thou art boy and girl as well. Tvam Stri, Tvam Pumanasi, Tvam Kumara, Utava Kumari, etc. Those of you who attend has that verse come yet in the Tuesday class? The Shvetashvatara Upanishad class? And it's one of the well-known verses of Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Recognizing that the divine is shining in everyone, men, women, children, the old guy walking with the cane, and the babies, everyone. And we say, and here's going to quote the the way they would say, "Get away, you outcast. Duram apasara re chandala." And again, by whom is created this enchantress woman, Nari Mohini? So he's mentioning these sayings which are very bad. "Oh brother, what I saw in South India, how the upper class tortures the lower. The exuberance of dance of courtesans in temples." I do not understand this line, what the meaning is. The exuberance of dance of courtesans in temples. So some of the courtesans, they were called the Devadasis. They would actually serve in the temples, but they were available for the prostitution and all of that. So maybe he considers that a torture of the upper classes torturing the lower classes, forcing them to do that. Some of these lines are new for us because in the earlier editions, these lines were removed. The religion which does not remove the misery of the poor, does not turn man into God, is that religion? Ours, is it a religion? Ours is don't touchism, only touch me not, touch me not. And he makes a kind of a pun here. He calls it Chuntmarg, Chuntmarga. So Marga is a path, and we have Bhakti Marga and Jnana Marga, the path of devotion, the path of wisdom. And you could say the Yoga Marga, the path of meditation. So there's different margas in traditional Hinduism, different paths to God. And he calls it Chunt Marga. It means the path of don't touch. So it's actually a pun which you have to explain a little bit. Actually very funny. But then he says, only don't touch me, don't touch me. Chut marga is to touch the path of touching or don't touching. Oh Hari, that country, the big leaders of which have for the last 2,000 years been only discussing whether to take food with the right hand or the left, whether to take water from the right hand side or from the left. The country whose mula mantra, whose root mantra is fat, fat, swaha, krang, krung, hung, hung, etc. These are some of the bijas and mantras chanted in the puja. If such a country does not become degraded, then which one will? And of course he's poking Shashi Maharaj because he did a lot of puja, and so he was there. I mean, this is not exactly what the mantra is, but it's true. There's a Hung Pat Swaha is one of the mantras, and so Swamiji is poking Shashi Maharaj here also a little bit about his puja fanaticism. If such a country does not become degraded, then which one will? Then he quotes again, he's quoting from the Mahabharata, the Adi Parva, early part of he says, Kala supte shujagarti kalohi duraiti kramaha. Time keeps awake when all sleep. Time is indeed insurmountable. He knows everything. Who is there to throw dust in his eyes, brother? So in time, everything is manifesting. All the bad deeds will manifest, their effects will come, is how I take this. That country where millions of people live on flowers of the mahua plant, and 1 million or 2 sadhus and 100 million or so Brahmins suck the blood out of these poor people without making even the least effort for their welfare. Is that a country or hell? Is that a religion or the devil's dance? Brother, try to have deep understanding of this. I have traveled all over India and seen this country too. Can there be an effect without a cause? Can there be punishment without sin? And then he gives a long Sanskrit quote. In all the scriptures and Puranas, this twofold statement of Vyasa is true. Doing good to others brings merit, and doing harm leads to sin. So that is paropakara punyaya papaya parapidanam. So both doing good to others gives punya, and doing bad to others gives papa. So this mahua plant is there's a certain flower. It's a tropical plant which the flowers of which can be eaten, and apparently in famines, sometimes the poor, especially in the remote areas, this would be what they would eat, just these flowers. So now he's going to describe his epiphany at the southernmost tip of India. Brother, seeing all this, especially the poverty and ignorance, I don't get any sleep. At Cape Comorin, sitting in the temple of Mother Kumari, that means Kanyakumari, that's the temple at the southernmost tip of India, sitting on the last bit of Indian rock, I hit upon a plan. That we are so many sannyasins wandering about and teaching the people metaphysics. It is all madness. Did not our Gurudev used to say, an empty stomach is no good for religion? That those poor people are leading the life of brutes is because of ignorance. The roguish wretches through all 4 ages have sucked their lifeblood and trampled them underfoot. Suppose, for instance, some sannyasins are moving about in the villages, but do they do any work? Whereas, if some unselfish sannyasins, bent on doing good to others, go from village to village, disseminating education and seeking in various ways to better the condition of all, down to the Chandala, through oral teaching and with the help of maps, cameras, globes, etc., can it not bring about good in time? All these plans I cannot write down in this short letter. The long and short of it is, if the mountain does not come to Muhammad, Muhammad must go to the mountain. The poor are so poor that they cannot come to schools and patashalas. The patashala means the village schools for the kids. And they will gain nothing by reading poetry and all that sort of thing. So now he had that epiphany in south at Mother Kanyakumari's temple, and then probably all of us remember how Swamiji, in his wandering, he came to this Kanyakumari, which is the name of the town where the temple is, and there is, at the very southernmost tip of India, is the temple. It's not a very large temple, but it's a very powerful temple, a Shaktipita, and the mother there is envisioned as a young girl, Kanyakumari, and she's beautiful. And there's also a rock, a couple of islands, 100 yards or 100 meters or 200 meters out from, you can see them easily. And Swami Vivekananda swam out to one of those rocks and sat there for 3 days meditating. And then he came up with this, that I have to do something for the poor. His heart was bleeding for the poor, he felt just getting crushed by the upper classes of India, and the upper classes are getting crushed by the British, so sucked by the British. So his idea is that what they need is education. They need to be lifted up. They don't need spirituality, not yet. An empty stomach is no good. You can't have religion on an empty stomach. Yes, if you're well fed, you can fast. So fasting is an important part of many people's religious practice. And some people fast once a week, some people fast every Ekadashi, some people fast once a year on Shivaratri. Whatever it may be, fasting can be an important part of religious practice. And certainly it's an important and can be very helpful practice. But not when people are starving. That's different. When you're starving, you can't think of God. You need food. You need nourishment. So Swamiji wanted to disseminate education. So these are still his early thoughts on it. Gradually, the Ramakrishna Mission was founded in 1897, and then we also started schools. It started with an orphanage with Swami Akhandananda, opening an orphanage, and gradually, little by little, now we have universities. We have major educational institutions in different parts of India. So that was started with this vision. I will say, if you go to India and have a chance to go to Kanyakumari, you'll see that on that rock where Swamiji meditated for 3 days, a beautiful temple has been built. Not by us, not by the Ramakrishna Mission, by Vivekananda Kendra. And there's a statue of Swamiji there, and it's beautiful. And I still have to go and see it. I went to Kanyakumari, but there was a cyclone had just passed through, so the waves were too large, and so the boats were not going out to the island. So I did have the darshan of Mother Kanyakumari, so I can attest to the power of that temple. And the Mother's presence there is very palpable and vivid. And Swami Vivekananda obviously also had that experience, because he's specifically mentioning that he is sitting in the temple of Mother Kumari, and then sitting on the last bit of Indian rock. It's very moving, actually. It's a place where you can see both the sunrise and the sunset, because it's on the south, and so if you look to the left, you'll see the sunrise, and then in the evening, the sun will set on the right. You've been there, huh?
But yeah, in the south part.
Yes. There's a little note here. The temple is dedicated to the Divine Mother, manifested there as a virgin girl. Swamiji swam across the seashore to the rock. No, he didn't swim across the seashore. He swam across that bit of ocean between the seashore and the rock, now known as Vivekananda Rock, located 500 meters off the mainland. So it's quite a distance, half a kilometer. 24 to 26 December, he meditated there 3 days. Crossing Christmas. Interesting. All right, so now he writes, and this paragraph is written in English. We as a nation have lost our individuality, and that is the cause of all mischief in India. We have to give back to the nation its lost individuality and raise the masses. The Hindu, the Mohammedan, the Christian, all have trampled them underfoot. Again, the force to raise them must come from inside, that is, from the Orthodox Hindus. In every country, the evils exist, not with, but against religion. Religion, therefore, is not to blame, but men. So the idea is, because the Brahmos would tend to blame Hinduism. They say, see, Hinduism, idol worshippers and all that. So I'm just saying, no, it's not the religion that's to blame. It's human weakness. It's so from within Hinduism has to come the revival. And that is what Sri Ramakrishna came for. That is what Swami Vivekananda came for, to spread the message of Vedanta and uplift not only the masses of India, but the whole world, actually, including us. Then he's back to writing back to Bengali. To effect this, the first thing we need is people, and the next is funds. By Guru's grace, I have and will have 10 to 15 people in every town. In India, I traveled in search of funds, but would Indians give money? Fools and dotards and selfishness personified, they would give. Therefore, I have come to America. I would earn money myself, then return to my country and devote the rest of my life to the realization of this one aim of my life. Okay, Swamiji did come to America. His first aim, one of his first aims, was to earn money. But afterwards, he realized that that was not his main purpose here. As he wrote to one of his Western disciples, as Buddha had a message for the East, I have a message for the West. So he understood that he was a prophet with a message for the world and for India, and also for the West, a special message for the West. And And he also did, but through these letters later, we see that he did send a lot of money to India. He did receive quite a bit of money here, mostly from his close friends and well-wishers, like Mrs. Bull, Miss MacLeod, and the legates, and other people we don't even know about. As our country lacks in social virtues, so this country lacks in spirituality. Okay, this is what he found, that here he found a lack of real spirituality. Not that there was nothing. He also found spiritual people, and he came to bring that spirituality, but he especially appreciated the social virtues, how far society had progressed. It's still pretty backwards from where we are now. 1893, it's pretty backwards. Women couldn't even vote yet for another 30 years or something. And, the racism was terrible. So and yet, even then, compared to India, it was far ahead in society. So this country lacks in spirituality. I am giving them spirituality, and they are giving me money. I do not know in how many days I will realize my goal. Most of the rascals of India are hypocrites or boobies. This is written in English. Boobies, whatever booby means. These people are not hypocrites, and jealousy is altogether absent in them. Okay, he's just come. He probably didn't know. I mean, jealousy is not going to be, there's jealousy everywhere. And I'm sure the Americans also had jealousy, but probably not to the degree that he found among the Indians. I do not depend on any rascals in Hindustan. I will, at the cost of my life, earn the wherewithal myself and carry out my plans, or die in the attempt. Then he quotes another little Sanskrit teaching from the Hitopadesha, the teachings, the teaching Hitaha, the teachings for welfare. It's a text. Sannimitte varantyago vinashe niyate sati. When death is certain, it is better to sacrifice oneself for a good cause. So this die in the attempt. You may perhaps think what utopian nonsense all this is. You little know what is in me. If anyone amongst you wishes to help me in my plan, all right. Or Gurudev will show me the way out. That is all. Okay, afterwards he's going to really press his brothers to help him, and finally they come around. Convey my millions of prostrations to Ma Thakurani. Ma Thakurani is how the disciples used to address our Holy Mother. Ma Thakurani. By her blessings, all is well with me everywhere. There is no need to read out this letter in the presence of outsiders. Tell this to everyone. Call them together and ask them if they can live in unison by giving up jealousy. Those who cannot live without being jealous of others, it is better that they stay away for the good of others. That is the defect in us as a race. National sin, 3 exclamation marks, that phrase written in English. This jealousy is not there in this country, and that is why they are so great. Okay, so he's actually scolding them, and again he cautions them, don't be jealous of each other. And this is also the reason why he told Swami Premananda, don't initiate anyone. So Swami Premananda never became a guru. Why? He said, your disciples and the disciples of Raja, means Swami Brahmananda, would fight. So Swami Brahmananda was the guru. Swami Premananda didn't. He inspired hundreds, probably thousands of people in spiritual life, but he never formally initiated anyone, because Swami Vivekananda cautioned him, your disciples and the disciples of Swami Brahmananda will fight with each other and break the order. So he recognized that people claiming my guru is better, and apparently that still happens. I heard someone related to me that there was a a problematic devotee who was scolding another devotee. My guru is that so-and-so is better than your guru, so you have to listen to me. Something crazy like that. So that's a big no-no in our tradition. We know that the guru actually is God. And so the human gurus are the channels for that Guru Shakti to flow. And so we don't compare our gurus, and we know that the power is flowing from Sri Ramakrishna through the different gurus. There's no need to claim any special greatness of my guru over your guru. And that's also a tradition that we try to observe here, and that it should always be observed, that any man or woman who is a guru in our tradition or in any tradition, okay, they are human beings. They have their flaws. So every guru in the Ramakrishna tradition has had flaws, for sure, because they're human beings. That's the nature of things. We don't talk about those. We don't point them out, especially not in the presence of their disciples. So we never criticize a guru, especially in the presence of their disciples. I know there's a fairly well-known guru outside not in our order, a totally different lineage, who came to this country and did not lead the most noble life in all respects, have to say. But he also had many disciples, and some of them are known to me. So I always feel very careful not to mention anything about the flaws of that particular guru, because he also was a guru, and as a dirty broomstick cleans dirty places, so even a guru with flaws like that, the Guru Shakti may still flow, and this particular guru clearly was powerful. So we don't mention, I'm always careful not to criticize a guru in case a disciple should be there and should be hurt, or their faith might be injured. We're almost done with this letter, then you can raise your objection if you have one. It looks like you might have one. Nowhere in the world are such frogs in the well like us. Let anything new come from any country, America will be the first to accept it. So America still has that spirit of acceptance of new ideas and all of that. And we think there are none like us in the world, we men of Aryan descent, quote unquote, 3 exclamation marks. Where their root really is, I do not know. And now he's going to say some very harsh things, the kind of terrible things that people are doing. Those rascals for 2 rupees bring girls in the ships for the English people. They go for urination, holding the border of the cloth of their wives. At the suppression of 1 lakh, means 100,000 people, meaning the British, 300 million Indians move about like dogs, and yet those rascals think they are of Aryan descent. Nothing more to add, Vivekananda. Okay, so this is, Swami Vivekananda could be quite, you can say, use rather crude language. And these things were removed from earlier editions, of course. This idea that even for passing urine, someone has to be sort of holding on to a man has to be holding on to his wife's sari. He's so weak that he can't even do that on his own. He needs to hold on to his, like a child holds on to his mom's clothing first day at school, and because he's scared, something like that. So it's a little crude, and Shashi Maharaj was the opposite of that. He wouldn't. Now Swami Vivekananda, keep in mind, this was among his brother disciples only that he would show this side. So in public, in his public utterances, in his lectures, he was very refined. But he had that side too. He was a Calcutta boy, after all, and learned the street language also. So here he is giving vent to his frustration at the backwardness of India and the terrible suffering of the poor, and the root being, in his eyes, on the one hand, the oppression of the British, and on the other hand, the jealousy and the weakness of the Indians, and the sinful things that they do. So this is Swami Vivekananda's first letter to Swami Ramakrishnananda after reaching America. And it took him, 9 months. He came in June, wasn't it? Or May or June? I forgot now. And this is early January. All right. Any questions, comments? Objections?
Did it mention that?
There's a microphone.
Was it mentioned that they should not be made public, or now it's like open, just to understand more?
Right, Swamiji at the time, of course, he said, don't make my letters public. But now, not only is Swamiji gone and all the recipients of the letters are gone, but every single person who is mentioned in any of these letters is no longer in the body, no longer living. So it couldn't harm, say, to criticize Mazumdar like that. He's gone. His children are also gone. So his grandchildren are probably also gone. Great-grandchildren may still be there. But anyhow, they'll have to live with that. I think it's wonderful to really show Swamiji's strong feelings, sometimes using rather crude language. He's expressing these strong feelings, how much he felt for people, how much he wanted India to rise. And look at India now. Look at India now. Tremendous. Swami Vivekananda, we see gradually the unfolding of India as a great country. So we'll see how things unfold. But any other comments, questions? We don't think we'll start the next one. The next letter is to his South Indian disciples, Alasinga Perumal and others, dear friends, and he's guiding them and giving some stories of his experiences, but I think we should leave that for the next time. No comments? Yeah, you have a comment.
So you mentioned how one guru shouldn't criticize another guru. You mentioned that at one point, right?
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't criticize any guru before their disciples.
Right.
I mean, a guru. True, a guru also shouldn't criticize another guru, and no one should criticize a guru.
But in front of their disciples.
Especially in front of their disciples. See, if I'm privately talking to someone and I hear about some guru's misdoings, and I'm speaking with a brother disciple or someone who I know is not connected with that at all, I can say, see, look, this thing happened. That's not going to, at least not going to hurt that person, most likely.
Right.
But
right.
of course, we're asked not to find fault and not to see fault. So still, we have to recognize the danger. Choose your guru carefully.
Right, because like I was going to mention, like, you know, even though you have that teaching, like Vivekananda gave constructive criticism towards, for example, like the bigoted forms of Christianity that was present back in the day, right?
Yes.
So like, I wonder where is that fine line between like where it's okay to give that constructive criticism or where it's like unhealthy, you know? Like an unhealthy sort of criticism, you know? Like,
well, I'm particularly talking about the context of the guru-disciple relationship,
right.
And the, so far as I have seen, the gurus who are gurus in the Ramakrishna order tradition are all sincere. In our order, they're all men.
Right.
In the Sharda Mat, they're women. They're all sincere monks and at heart good people. They all, or most likely all, have certain human flaws, and you getting to know them, you might see some of those flaws, but it serves no purpose to criticize those flaws, because at heart they're good people and they're functioning as gurus. They're functioning as conduits for the spiritual power that is flowing in our lineage. And if you criticize them, especially to their disciples may, first of all, feel terribly hurt. My guru has been criticized by others in my presence. They didn't know I was a disciple of that particular guru. And it made my blood boil, first of all. But if my faith in my guru hadn't been so strong, it might have hurt my faith that, oh, if my guru has a flaw like that, then I think I don't want to do spiritual practice anymore. I don't want to follow this path. I'll find some other path.
Right.
So
that is pretty different from when he's critiquing like Christianity, for example. Okay. Oh man, that teaching of, what was it? Don't find fault in others. That one's so tough, man. You know, because
try it.
Oh man, but I love hating so much, man. It's
you love what?
I love hating so much. You know, it's like I think it's good. You know, all hate is constructive criticism in just that weird form. You know, it's like no, that's not true.
Yeah, it makes us miserable. Actually,
Right.
Finding fault makes us miserable, and just keeping quiet, rather looking towards our own faults. Not that we beat up on ourselves, but see where we can improve ourselves, rather than pointing our fingers at others. Oh, you should do this, you must improve yourself. Rather, let me see how I may improve myself. And if we want peace, says our beloved Ma, we must give up that fault-finding habit. It doesn't mean we don't notice,
Right.
but are we going to constantly think about it, point it out, tell others, oh, did you know what they did? That kind of gossiping makes us miserable and makes others miserable too. There's a comment here requesting me to mention that the main temple of Belar Mutt was initially funded by American disciples, yes, and Ms. Mueller actually provided the funds for buying the land. American lady, and the Shraddha and Bhakti were the two ladies from I think they were from Providence, Rhode Island. Swami Akhilananda was their guru, as far as I know, and they provided the funds for building Sri Ramakrishna's temple at Belar Mutt. Correct. So, anything else? Let's take just a moment of silence and then we can say goodnight. Though, let me see if I can find a positive line, because the end he was really railing against these situations, and yet. All right, this line is the good one to close with. Convey my millions of prostrations to Ma Thakurani. By her blessings, all is well with me everywhere. That comment reveals just a little glimpse of Swami Vivekananda's tremendous reverence and devotion for Holy Mother, and shows that he recognized her not as an ordinary human being, but as a manifestation of Divine Mother. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ram Krishnarpanam Astu.